There was a specific moment when Caitlin Clark's critics stopped talking. Not gradually, not quietly, but all at once. It happened during her rookie year. And when it happened, decades of excuses, dismissals, and doubts evaporated in a single month that no one saw coming. This is the story of the most criticized athlete in modern sports, and the exact moment she made it impossible for her haters to speak again. 1. The hatred was specific. Before we get to the moment that silenced them, you need to understand exactly what Caitlin Clark was up against. The criticism wasn't vague. It was targeted. ESPN analyst Bomani Jones questioned whether her success was real basketball or just media hype. Sports commentator Jason Whitlock called her accomplishments manufactured narratives. Social media accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers labeled her the most overrated player in basketball history. The pattern was always the same. Dismiss her shooting as just jacking up threes. Claim her numbers were inflated because women's basketball is easier. Insist that she'd never survive against real competition. When she dominated in college, critics moved the goalposts. They said college didn't count because the competition was too weak, so she was just a volume scorer who wouldn't translate to the next level. And when she broke Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record, becoming the highest scorer in Division I basketball history across men's and women's leagues, they had a new excuse ready. She played more games than Maravich. Women's defense isn't the same. Wait until she gets to the pros. That last one became their safety net. The Wumbo would expose her. The professionals would shut her down. The real test was still coming. They hung everything on that prediction. And for months before her rookie season started, that narrative dominated sports media. What they didn't know was that they were setting up their own destruction. 2. The stage was set for failure. The transition, the WNBA destroys rookies. Aja Wilson needed years to reach the elite level. Breanna Stewart took time to adjust. Angel Reese, drafted the same year as Clark, would struggle with consistency and eventually get injured. The league is faster. The defenders are smarter. The physicality is brutal. And the expectations placed on Caitlin Clark were higher than any rookie in WNBA history. She was supposed to save the Indiana Fever, a franchise that had won just 13 games the previous season. She was supposed to fill arenas. She was supposed to justify the insane media coverage. Critics were salivating. They wanted her to fail. They needed her to fail, because if she succeeded, every excuse they'd built over the past 3 years would collapse. The first few games seemed to prove them right. In her professional debut, Clark committed 10 turnovers. The Fever lost by 20 points. Sports media had their headline ready before the buzzer even sounded. The next game, 8 turnovers. Another loss. By her 5th professional game, she'd racked up 33 turnovers total. The Fever started the season 1-8. Social media exploded with "I told you so" posts. Critics weren't just vindicated, they were celebrating. The physical punishment was worse than anyone expected. Veteran defenders targeted her relentlessly. Kennedy Carter delivered a blindside hip check that sent Clark sprawling to the floor, an incident that went viral and sparked debates about whether the league was trying to humble her. Dejanai Carrington poked her in the eye during a playoff game. Defenders hand-checked her, grabbed her jersey, and bodied her on every possession. The narrative wasn't just that she was struggling. It was that she didn't belong, that the college game had been too easy, that she'd been exposed as a system player who couldn't handle real basketball. ESPN ran segments questioning whether she was worth the hype. Talk radio hosts debated whether the Fever had made a mistake building around her. Betting lines shifted against Indiana every game. The Fever were projected to miss the playoffs entirely, and through it all, Clark kept playing. Every game, every minute her coach asked for, even when the losses piled up and the criticism intensified. But what they didn't see was the adjustment happening in real time. Around game 12, something clicked. The turnovers started dropping. The shot selection improved. Her court vision began translating to the professional level. Most importantly, she stopped trying to prove critics wrong and started just playing her game. The assists came easier. The scoring became more efficient. The chemistry with her teammates developed. And by mid-season, the Fever weren't just competitive anymore. They were winning. By the time anyone realized what was happening, it was too late to stop it. The early struggles became the setup for something no one predicted. The critics had gotten so loud during those first few weeks that, when the records started falling, the contrast made them look even more foolish. They declared her a failure after 9 games. She was about to make them regret every word. 3. The moment everything changed. August 2024. That's when the avalanche started. And once it started, it didn't stop. On August 16, Caitlin Clark broke the WNBA single-season assist record, a record that had stood since 1998. She didn't just break it with a few games left. She shattered it by over 20 assists, finishing with 337 for the season. Critics went quiet, but not silent. Not yet. 1 week later, she set the single-game assist record record with 19 in one night, a record that would have been impressive for a veteran point guard in their prime. She did it as a rookie. The excuses started getting weaker. Then came the scoring records. She became the highest scoring guard in WNBA single-season history. Then the rookie scoring record was set with 769 points. Then the rookie three-point record with 122 made threes. And then came the moment that changed everything. September 4th, 2024, Caitlin Clark recorded a triple-double against the Los Angeles Sparks. First rookie in WNBA history to achieve one. First in Indiana Fever franchise history. And she didn't do it once. She did it twice that season. By season's end, the records weren't just broken, they were obliterated. Fastest player ever to 350 points and 150 assists. Fastest to 100 made three-pointers. Most assists by a rookie. Most points by a rookie. Most threes by a rookie. First rookie to win Player of the Month and Rookie of the Month in the same month. Multiple franchise records for the Fever. And here's what made it impossible to deny. She played every single game. While other rookies rested, sat out, or struggled with injuries, Clark showed up for all 40 games and averaged the second most minutes in the entire league. The critics had said she couldn't handle the physicality. She led the league in assists while getting hammered on every drive. They said she was just a shooter. She averaged 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. They said the pros would expose her. She became the most complete rookie the WNBA had ever seen. But here's the detail that made everything undeniable. When the All-Star voting opened mid-season, the critics assumed she'd get support, but not dominance. They were wrong. She received 700,735 votes, a record. As a rookie, she led the entire league in fan voting, and that's when the silence started. 4. The proof they actually shut up. You can track the exact moment critics stopped talking. Before September 2024, daily hot takes about Clark being overrated. After September 2024, silence. Deflection. Topic changes. Jason Whitlock stopped mentioning her name. The manufactured narrative talking points disappeared. Social media accounts that had spent months trashing her suddenly pivoted to other topics. ESPN's narrative shifted from can she compete to how much is she worth. Nike, State Farm, and Gatorade fought over endorsement deals. Her speaking fee hit $100,000 for 30 minutes. She became the first professional female athlete to headline the Long Island Association Luncheon, an event previously reserved for U.S. presidents and Fortune 500 CEOs. The organization's chairman publicly stated that Clark transformed the economics of the game. Even her college professors had asked about her nil deals while she was still in school. Her influence wasn't just athletic, it was cultural and economic. But the most telling evidence came from the 2025 All-Star voting. After her historic rookie season, the fans returned. This time, she received 1.29 million votes, nearly doubled her own record from the year before. The number wasn't just big, it was bigger than every other player combined in some previous years. The critics didn't just stop attacking her, they started praising her. Analysts who had dismissed her were now calling her generational. Commentators who had predicted failure were now crediting her with saving the league. The goalposts didn't just move, they vanished completely. Because when you break every major record in your rookie season while playing every game and leading the league in multiple categories, there's nowhere left to hide. No excuses left to make, no narratives left to spin. The moment didn't silence critics through a single shot or a single game. It silenced them through sheer, undeniable, overwhelming dominance that accumulated over months until denial became impossible. 5. Why it worked. Caitlin Clark didn't argue with her critics. She didn't defend herself on social media. She didn't fire back with words. She let the scoreboard speak. Every assist record was a rebuttal. Every triple-double was an answer. Every game played through contact and physicality was proof. And when she broke Maravich's scoring record in college, critics said, wait for the pros. So she went to the pros and broke their records too. She didn't just beat expectations. She destroyed the framework critics used to diminish her. They couldn't say her game wouldn't translate. She translated it. They couldn't say she'd struggle with physicality. She led the league in minutes. They couldn't say she was overhyped. She became the most valuable player in women's basketball economically and competitively. The hate was never about her ability. It was about fear. Fear of what happens when a woman becomes undeniable. Fear of change. Fear of being proven wrong on a public stage. But Clark didn't shrink to make others comfortable. She expanded until comfort wasn't an option. And when her rookie season ended, the silence wasn't temporary. It was permanent. Because once you achieve the impossible, critics can't go back to calling you overrated. The receipts exist. The records exist. The proof exists. And Caitlin Clark made sure there was too much proof to ignore. Caitlin Clark's rookie season wasn't just historic. It was the moment that made denial impossible. If you want to see more athletes who silence their critics through dominance, subscribe and hit the notification bell. The next legend is already rising.